Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Today is Monday, October 1st, 2018, and we got another RuneScape update for y'all. Today we see the release of a patch week, so without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go.
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, since it is a patch week, we're going to jump right into the patch notes very shortly, but before we do that, I really want to state, in case you didn't know, October 5th through 6th is RuneFest this year. That's just next weekend, and generally they show off a bunch of new upcoming plans or updates in the near and far future. So you can stay tuned on Twitch, because they will be live streaming the entire event throughout those days if you want to stay up to date. If not, however, I have been covering the information or the reveals that they go over in RuneFest over the past couple of years, so that's going to be no different this year on the channel. I'll definitely be covering those pretty extensively, so if you do miss it or you're not going to watch the entire live stream, I do dedicate videos to each individual update that was discussed, so you can pick and choose which ones you're interested in, which ones you may not particularly want to check out. That's the way I like to set it up, and that's the way I think many of you prefer based on previous years. So that's not going to change. That's next week, RuneFest, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, now that I got that out of the way, we can look at those patch notes. So let's go ahead and check out what we got going on. First up, the major change. The settings menu has been significantly overhauled. A couple of changes to the quest point shop. A destroy warning will now mention if the item can be reclaimed from the quest point shop storage chest. Players will no longer have to pay for their first ever reclaim of the Armor of Trials outfit. The subsequent claims will be full price. The Pirate Lorehound skin now has polycolors when in minimum detail graphics. The Armor of Trials now applies the correct hybrid armor level reduction. Necklace of Charos will no longer be available at the quest storage chest if you do not meet the full requirements to obtain it. Instead, you can receive the old necklace as initially intended. The purchase button in the quest point shop no longer occasionally loses its functionality. The second Lorehound skin will now display its owner's total quest points when examined. It's no longer possible to use the Lorehound familiar skins as familiar overrides if you have not unlocked them. And the reward chests from Meg will no longer provide multiple rewards incorrectly. Couple of player-owned farm changes. Farm totem perks and skilling potions buff bar icons can now be toggled on and off. Players can no longer light fires inside pens in the player-owned farm. The farming skill guide will now correctly show farming fragment rates at level 120. Players can now gather and weave ancestral energy from uncharted islands with boosted divination. Players can activate the turtle portals on the islands that once were turtles with boosted divination. And rune score is now recorded correctly for the player-owned farm achievements. Couple of ninja fixes. The new key from the Morin End Part 2 can be reobtained again for players that don't have it already on their key ring. Evil Dave's spellbook can now store up to 1,000 of each Watchtower, Camelot, Falador, Ardoin, Lumbridge, and Varrock chipped teleport tablets and can now be equipped in the pocket slot. Added climb up and climb down options to the lighthouse and windmills that have 3 floors. Couple of mobile changes. Added an in-game error message when the client has failed to connect properly. RuneScape will no longer cause Spotify to cut out on mobile. Players will now see a visual confirmation when performing an action in the game world. We've adjusted some of the tutorial island instructions and dialogue to remove more PC terminology on mobile. Fixed some issues with the game tutorial when playing it through on mobile. Fixed an issue that was causing the minigames interface button on the ribbon to appear in the setup interface when it was active on mobile. This was causing a variety of issues with the ribbon setup and the ribbon itself. The minigames window will no longer appear on the ribbon setup. Instead, it will always occupy the top slot when it needs to be active. Some of the right-click menus, op lists called from the interface components were inverted on mobile. These have now been corrected to be listed the same way as the PC client. Resolved an issue that could cause the mobile targeting frame / targeting info panel to become combined with the chat and rendered unusable. The worn equipment screen aura slot can now be interacted with while no aura is equipped to open the aura management interface. Opening the mini menu here will have a list of your favorite auras. Several engine fixes. They fixed a bug with items appearing black within player's inventory, fixed the bug with the rune essence cave rocks not rendering, improved the water reflections and effects, fixed an issue where taps could be offset on mobile devices, improved memory performance on mobile devices, and there's a known issue where some mobile devices may be experiencing slow moving textures or animated in-game locations. Moving on to other fixes, players once again can teleport to another clan citadel using relationships signpost. Araxor's special attack count will now reset to 0 at the start of phase 3. Prevented damage from vengeance, ignoring various damage reduction / prevention effects. Spiders spawn on path 1 of Araxor will now spawn faster when on phase 2. This now works the same as it does whilst Araxor's on phase 3 and still has spiders to spawn. The Anima Rain mechanic on phase 2 of the Solak fight will now end as soon as the fight transitions to phase 3. The XP tracker pop-up is now more consistent at levels over 99. Grammatical issues in the Last Rider's lorebook have been amended. The quest log now correctly updates when the player starts the Shiloh Village quest. Attempting to disassemble criminal bolt shafts will now give the appropriate response that you can't disassemble them. Fixed a typo in the message that appears when the Super Edamu spawns in co-op Slayer tasks. Fixed an issue on mobile where the scroll bar within the skill guide would not appear upon leveling up a skill. The font size within the guide has also been increased for this. Amir Ali will now stop impersonating Osman when you talk to him about squirt juice. At a player's request, changed text in Lord Dequarius's dossier from wanted from unanimously voted into leadership after the defeat of Lord Sula to unanimously voted into leadership after the exile of Lord Sula. Met Het Yet and under Kraken Key achievements now complete correctly. Only going forward, we can't find the reverse, ready, trek, and trekking ain't easy can now be completed more reliably. You will no longer be continually notified of meeting quest requirements for while Gothic sleeps, and will now only be notified on the level that you meet the requirement. Players with certain construction levels will no longer disconnect when attempting to enter a player-owned house in free-to-play worlds. Reclaimable items from the quest storage can no longer be disassembled. All players should once again find that they can teleport using the memory strands from the currency pouch in the inventory and from the main currency pouch itself. Should this still not work, we recommend unfavoring any memory strands you already have and re-adding it. Certain tooltips no longer overlap in the God Statues D&D. Switching tabs when setting up an offer for the GE will no longer remove items examine info. Damage from mutated barge .proc will no longer persist after a finished duel. Made color adjustments to Shadow and Third Age dyed Sirenic and Elite Sirenic armor. Some incorrect height mapping in the next Angel of Death boss room has been corrected. Players can now store tools with the tool Leprechaun by using objects on them. Using up bonus XP recently obtained from the Refer a Friend bonus will no longer notify you every time. And finally, Insect Repellent can now be added to the tool belt. And that is it for your patch notes. I'll have a link to everything discussed in this video down in the description below if you want to go ahead and check those off for yourself. Head on over there to do so. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.